But I've been in the Senate since the time of Christ, so I've seen a lot of changes here in our American system. And I must tell you that this new thing with the woke people is completely off the rails. Men thinking they can have babies and shit like that is fucking insane. I mean, can't they get laid? I know that most men may go through dry spells where they seem to no women at all paying attention to them, but then they find some willing gal that will allow them to fuck like there's no tomorrow. This happened to me years ago when I first met my wife. Man alive, did we ever tear it up together. And as you may know, I'm a bit of a student of history, and the hooker nickname for prostitutes comes from General Hooker supplying his men with female companionship because he knew a satisfied soldier is a good soldier, so he made sure they got laid all the time. I know this because I was in his regiment back then. Of course, I was a little younger then and hadn't yet set my sights on government work. But it didn't take me long to realize that the U.S. government could pay for your entire career and provide benefits not available to the average citizen. And the American taxpayer foots the bill for everything. Plus, we can get inside information regarding stocks and so forth and can make a bundle by doing so. We are the lawmakers. So we have created laws whereby insider trading is not illegal for us. For the average citizen, yes. For us, no. Saw it to some. We have our own bank that can distribute zero interest loans to its members. And if you default on that loan, there is no penalty. So you can borrow money to fund your investments and use insider information to make sure your investments always win. And this is done each and every day by both members of Congress as well as those in the Senate. And I got to tell you, I've done pretty good over the years. I arrived here in Washington back in the 1970s with a couple dollars in my pocket. And I have amassed a fortune over the years. And I have the American taxpayer to thank for that. If it were not for the gullible people of the great Commonwealth of Kentucky who have elected me over and over again, I probably would have been a counter clerk at a Circle K or maybe a night watchman at a graveyard. I have no talents. I am politically savvy for sure, but I have no real talents. I can't even change a light bulb on my own. I have service staff for those kinds of things, paid for by the taxpayer, of course. Myself as well as my colleagues get both fuel and travel stipends, so we don't have to pay for any of that stuff either. The taxpayer pays for all of that for us. Myself and my fellow Republican colleagues say we're conservative, and with our own money we are. But with the taxpayers' money, we'll spend that like it's a blue light special at Kmart, and we spend money we don't have. We do that a lot. If we need to add spending to something we just asked the Fed to print up more money, back in the old days, like before Nixon, our money was backed by gold, but now our money is backed by thin air. They say it is based on the petrodollar, but the whole oil thing is going to go by the wayside like the dinosaurs did, and other forms of energy will prevail. I mean, why do you think we're involved in Ukraine? It really has nothing to do with democracy, but rather it is because Ukraine has huge deposits of lithium, and that stuff is used for all the new batteries for all the electric cars and all that. Now, lithium has some pretty serious side effects that we don't talk about very much, like the fact that the disposal of the spent batteries is very, very toxic, to the point that it would make Love Canal look like a minor bump in the road. But we, as lawmakers, don't concern ourselves with that because we know that it will be the next generation that has to deal with all of that crap. Plus, the youngsters today are so fixated on their phones and social media that they are oblivious to any real concerns happening in their world. We have been quite successful at the dumbing down of the average American, which allows us to move forward with all kinds of policies that benefit us, but will eventually be the death knell for them. It's really quite amazing just how dumb these people are. I mean, they elected Donald Trump, for God's sake, and that guy is so far removed from reality, it's not even funny. But they all love him for some unknown reason. So we, as Republicans, are forced to hitching our wagons to this incompetent train wreck of a man that wants to be some kind of dictator and have everyone kneel at his feet. This is insane, but that is the path they have chosen, and what the end result of it all will be is really unknown. But with all the various trials he has lodged against him, he will most likely be taken out of the picture as a result of his being convicted of one or more crimes. And he has clearly broken the law and is, in my opinion, an actual traitor to our country. But I, of course, can't state that publicly because that would go counter to the party line. However, I am setting off into the sunset, so I can say that and let the American people know that this guy is a complete menace and should be avoided like the plague. I just hope Alvin Bragg or Jack Smith do their jobs and put this guy behind bars where he belongs. So, there you have it. I've said my piece and can now move forward with what's left of my life, knowing I tried to warn everybody about this. Thank you for your time, and I'm going to go sip some fine Kentucky whiskey now.